The first book, this one, I read while I was in a very bleak phase of my life. I was in university, actually not in high school at that time, but I was processing all that had happened in high school. And so I read this, and I read this to a friend who was moving countries and she needed to sell her books, so I got them from her. I bought them, I think. And she noted that all of the books that I was interested in from her were almost all of the same theme, and I didn't realize what the theme was. But when I read these books, I realized they were all on us. The protagonist was having mental health issues. So this first book is the one. This is Made You Up by Francesca Zappia. I wouldn't say it's the protagonist suffers from schizophrenia and paranoia, and I wouldn't say that it's an accurate description of the mental health issues she's facing, but I like the creativity woven into the plot, and the fact that the main character can be an unreliable narrator because of her hallucinations and her illness. Yeah, it made me feel seen it just made me feel seen because it was quite depressing, this book, and kind of, it wasn't too depressing. I don't remember what happens at the end even, and I just remember the experience reading it, and it felt like being held by another person who's cold and numb or something like that. Do you get what I mean? Being held by another person who is in suffering. Now, the second one. This one I really enjoyed, and these books I haven't read recently. I really want to dive back into them. It's been a decade since I read them, I think, but I'm just describing the experience, you know. The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. I read this before the movie came out, and I enjoyed the movie.
Really thoroughly. What is that one? Okay, wait.
I read it before. I'm repeating myself, ululating and all that. A little well ahead before that, a year or so before the movie came out. I don't really have exact memories of what was happening around the time in my life, but this is not. Yeah, I was in high school, that's what I remember. I was in the first year of high school or so, or in the midst. And I really related heavily to the main character, who's like a recluse, introvert, and socially awkward and all that, you know. It makes you really feel seen if you are, especially if you identify with being as more introverted and unable to maybe blend in, I would say, socially seamlessly. Then you should definitely check out this book. It really made me feel like I was reading about the life and the inner life of another friend who is like me and really similar to me. And the end, it will make you cry. I think the end of the book will make you cry. Not necessarily cry even, but it will, like, you know. I will definitely recommend this one. The third recommendation is more like a self-help book. It's by Matt Haig, Reasons to Stay Alive. I would highly recommend it if you're going through a really low period in your life. Sometimes while reading the book, I felt like he was trying to convince me to stay alive. Well, obviously that is what the title of the book is about, so he would, you know. But towards the end of the book, I felt like he succeeded in that in a way. And I would tell you why. There's a quote from that book. I would read it out to you. And you will one day experience joy that matches this pain. You will cry euphoric tears at the Beach Boys. You will stare down at a baby's face as she lies asleep in your lap. You will make great friends. You will eat delicious foods you haven't tried yet. You will be able to look at a view from a high place and not assess the likelihood of dying from falling. There are books you haven't read yet that will enrich you. Films you will watch while eating extra large buckets of popcorn. and you will dance and laugh and go for runs by the river and have late night conversations and laugh until it hurts. Life is waiting for you. You might be stuck here for a while, but the world isn't going anywhere. Hang on in there if you can. Life is always worth it. This was towards the end of the book, I think, this quote, and the whole book, the whole experience. I don't like self-help books normally, but this one when I read, it felt like a warm hug, you know. So I would highly recommend it, and especially if you're going through a dark phase in your life. Hold on to hope, hold on to hope. Yes, like your life depends on it, because it really does.